I'm going to go with the team that has the most amount of players that have drank a lot of alcohol in my apartment
Well, just
past the
general.
hours of 1 a.m.
I got it already. Very professional. Very professional.
I'm open. Welcome to the open podcast.
Welcome to the I'm Open podcast, where we are adult men. It's been a little bit since we last recorded. Probably a week and a half since the first round of AUDL playoffs went down. That was crazy.
How you guys doing? It's been so long. Sam, you went to Hawaii?
I went to Hawaii.
Joe's in New Zealand?
Joe's in New Zealand. Where'd you guys go?
I didn't do shit, man.
I went to the United States Open.
Oh, we'll talk about the US Open later.
Yeah,
all right.
Idiot.
You have to listen to the other shit we were talking about.
Yeah.
This is just like a strategy that YouTubers use. You say something that's interesting now to keep the viewer hooked for later.
Smart. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, don't tell them. Edit that out. Edit that out.
Yeah, that's a secret.
Cut that.
Yeah, cut that.
All right. If there's no objections, I'll just pull up our auction thing while we talk about the games that happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
We had
For anyone who didn't watch our live stream or the recording, we did an auction of the playoff teams. And basically we spent a lot of money on them, and then we'll earn money if our teams do well. And that's how it goes. So the main takeaway from the first weekend is that Ryan and Carp combined to buy Carolina and Colorado for $58, and they both lost.
I thought it was a smart investment at the time.
Sam, I kind of did too.
Can we get a zoom on just the table all the way on the left?
This one,
just for our viewers.
Yeah,
if we're watching on the phone or something. Yeah. Ryan and Carp bid each other, like drove the price up on the Summit, and then
and the Flyers,
as we all expected, the Summit lost in the first round, and the Flyers, which I picked as my sneaky, like, this team is like so good. Like, I was talking to someone at a practice, someone who, knows I do podcast stuff a little bit, and they're like, so what do you think about this game? And I was like, oh, well, I'm really high on the Flyers and blah blah blah, and I was so fucking wrong, and I feel like a big idiot.
I mean, we were all wrong, because the Soul went for the same cost as the Glory did.
That's crazy. What a steal.
Hey, well, I bought them, so I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, Sam was right.
Also, I remember it being like, wow, I would have paid a lot more for the Soul, but
yeah, did they go early? Is that why they're like so low?
Super early.
Oh man, that's crazy. What a steal. They looked good. Okay, I didn't watch. I was really keyed in on the Aviators game, obviously. Did anyone like anything aside from the hanky play?
God, that was crazy. I was just watching, like, Austin. When Austin plays, there's so many turnovers, and it's like, I don't know. I think they like infect the other team to make them also turn it over a lot. But it kind of works out. And then it's just like their defense is so good. Like I felt like every goal that I saw Carolina score, there was like an Austin player like bidding, almost getting it. They just fly around on defense, and they make you turn it over. Like, they made Carolina turn it over a bunch, which is like, it's Carolina. They don't do that.
Do you guys think that Austin had kind of more of like a underdog mentality that maybe gave them a little bit of energy to like send it on that bid when it's close, and like they just kind of played a little bit out of their minds, and then Carolina came a little bit flat? Like, I mean, do you think that, like, just from the surface and from the limited amount that I watched, that's kind of the impression I got? But what do you guys think?
I think so. And I think Austin, going into the game, I wasn't sure if them having, Dukatron after Dukatron every week was going to be a hindrance or a positive, but
I thought it would.
clearly, I thought it would too, but clearly, they went into the season with the mindset of like, we are all going to be at our full strength for this playoff game and this next upcoming playoff game. And that worked. I think what really hurt the Flyers, and I'd say this also hurt the Summit, is just not a consistent roster. I forgot who I was talking to at the Open. It might have been Keenan Lawrence. I talked to a lot of AUDL guys this past weekend, but they were saying like to win in the AUDL, you need consistency in your roster week in and week out to develop that chemistry because, with that 7-second stall, you need to be clicking on all cylinders. And I think, we saw that with the Flyers, week in, week out, just like having their B team show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to hop games too quick, but that was like my main thought watching the Aviator Summit game was like that
Exactly.
there was so much more, like the Summit could be so much better so soon, like just with Nut back and then like a few weeks together playing, like
Yeah.
that could have been a totally different team. Just kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Or even just if that was the Summit team all season without Nethercut and
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
more time to like get comfortable in like a different role, like even that would have been helpful, but it was kind of like Nut missed some games earlier and then he came back and then he missed this one. And I just think like the changeover definitely, I don't know. I think that definitely had some effects. Outside of the fact that Nethercut is just like an amazing, like, I mean, it just looks different when he's playing. The way their offense flows and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, I totally agree, Ryan, with your consistency point. I think that definitely hurt because Carolina, like sometimes they had Joe White, sometimes they didn't. They had Gooch was like they had some guys who were coaching dark side, so they missed some games. Like it seemed like their roster was different every week. I mean, we could probably pull it up and actually look at the roster week to week. I don't know how many weeks in a row it was the same guys,
Yeah.
So that definitely hurts.
Totally.
If we want to move on to the game that I think we all want to talk about is that Aviator Summit game, which I mean, I think we were all glued to the TV watching that game compared to the other games, which really weren't that interesting if you're talking about the Alley Cats Chicago, or sorry, the Alley Cats Punion, Onion, whatever we want to call them, Chicago.
It was the Onions of the week.
We saw the Onions this week and most of the year, but especially last week.
Yeah. And then Breeze Glory, which also just wasn't really close at all.
Yeah, it wasn't super exciting.
We had a 1-point game in Colorado, which I was at. And I mean, just from a vibe check, like we've kind of touched on it, like, dude, the Aviators, it was fun. Like their sideline, they were like, it was the energy, it was there. Like, and they just play out of their mind. Like I was talking to Carp, friend of the pod, acquaintance Carp, because we were on the sideline for that game. Like going into the second half, I think the Aviators were either up 1 or down 1. I was like, the Aviators need to have a perfect half here to win this game, and they did. Like I don't think their O-line had more than 2 or 3 turns in the second half. It could have been less, could have been more. I don't know, but it just seemed like their O-line was just cooking, and yeah, and that's what happened. And they came out and they just won.
They didn't give up. They had some, let's be honest, they had some bounces go their way. And I think that kind of needs to happen if you're the underdog on the road.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, I don't want to take credit away from, let's talk about the Ambrose play, the greatest. I think that's a little bit of the bounce go your way a little bit, but also like if you watch the replay, and they pointed this out on Swing Pass, not an ad, just a fan.
Don't watch it. Don't listen.
Yeah, don't listen to it because I'm telling you, I'm bootlegging what they said right now. But like if you watch the replay, this is so true. Like he's looking at the sideline to see how close he is to it. He checks over his shoulder to see where he's gonna throw it, and then he jumps, and then like you can just see like what the thought process is going, and you can only really see it in slow-mo, and just somehow he figures all of that out in real time and then like gets it to his player. So like, maybe there was some luck involved there, but also like Ambrose kind of, I mean, if you asked him, he might say like, yeah, that's kind of what I meant to do, which is like insane. And just when that happened, I was just like, holy fuck, like this is a game. Like the Aviators could really pull this off. And they went down a little bit like before. I can't remember. I was pretty friggin' hammered during this game, I'm gonna be honest. But they refused to go away, and they just never really relented. Like the Summit kind of had a little juice, and I think went ahead kind of around the middle of the game, and they were like they stuck around, and it was a really fucking sick game.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this because it's on the pod and journalist integrity, and I don't want to say it to his face, but I'll say it on the internet. Jay Frood might have been Jay Fraud.
Jay
He might have been Jay Fraud that game. It wasn't just like he was bad. It was like he was making decisions that the team did not need. There was one hammer that was just like you'd worked it down the field, and you just threw a hammer blade that was turned. There was a couple other throws. I was just like, every time he had the disc, I was like, oh, you know that feeling when you're playing league or you're playing on a team and like that one person has the disc and you're like, oh, please don't.
The old guy who doesn't run.
Yeah, I'm watching this game and I'm like, oh no, Jay has the disc. And it's like last year, Jay was one of the best players on this team. So I don't know what changed in this playoff scenario game, but he's kind of a liability for them this week. And Summit players, don't come after me. I'm a big Summit fan, but it's got to speak the truth. Got to see what I see what I see. Say what I see.
Yeah, Ryan, if I'm a Summit player, I'm not sure how I feel about you anymore, because you've been kind of the guy like on the sideline with the press pass, like being hype, and then you're going out and partying with the Aviators after. Like, what's up with that,
bastard?
Like, come on, yeah. Are you
Summit guys? Come party with us. What that's them.
They
why did they want to party with me, bro?
What's going on?
Oh man,
no, that's a great point, Ryan. They I mean, yeah, I don't know.
They're lame.
They should.
No, yeah, I agree, and I think like I wonder also how much of that is affected by like the inconsistent rosters and the chemistry. Like I think I said in the group chat that Calvin Stoughton and Danny Landisman were really good but not ready for showtime, and I think that's also like a chemistry thing. Like they had like, I don't remember exactly, but there was some like back and forth like give and go they were doing that led to like just a floaty throw that got blocked, and it was just like clearly like they just haven't done that a lot like in game together in the AUDL. So yeah, I mean, season's over, but obviously the Summit are still really good, and next year will still be really good. So,
yeah. Oh yeah, they'll be there next year. We'll see. Maybe they'll take a look at this season and see kind of how the roster stuff worked out, and then said, hey, like maybe we could. But obviously, shit happens and life happens, and people can't always make stuff. So that it kind of is what it is. But oh shit, I had like one last thought and I don't remember. So
it was probably really smart.
It probably that's giving me a lot of credit. I don't know if it was, but
all right, well, I can mess around on our sheet here. Just walk people through the status update. So Kyle's made money if results hold with the stats, but they probably won't, at least entirely. These are obviously all locked in, but then the stat leaders right now, fewest goals per game is the Glory. They only scored 12, which I think
that's a lock.
Yeah, that's probably a lock. Goals per game leader right now is McDougal. He had 7, which is pretty high. But I mean, obviously
that could change.
They're going to keep playing. Yeah,
I think some Empire guy could.
Yeah, and then hockey assist leader, I forget who it was. Somebody on the Flyers had like 6 or something. But this is
that could hold.
No, this is a total, so it's definitely not going to hold. We had no Callahans. Most blocks in the game. Aviators had 13 blocks.
Holy
pretty
shit.
Nuts. Worst completion percentage was the Summit. It was like they and the Aviators were like 0.0003 off from each other or something. So it was pretty close. And then most goals allowed total is obviously going to change, but right now it's the Union. who got walloped by Indy.
Is there anything we kind of totally skipped over that game? Is there anything from that game that's worth talking about?
Everything I
got
had is like about Indy, so I can just say that when we talk about Indy's next game. Like, I don't have anything to say about Chicago.
For sure.
Like, bye Chicago.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, then let's get into next week.
Woo!
Time to preview.
Oh, let's go.
Baby.
Sponsored by nobody.
Yeah, hey, if you've made it this far and you know someone that wants to give us money to put your name or your business or anything, let us know.
Yeah, your name could be in like size 10 font right down there.
You don't have to be a business. You could just give us money and we'll do anything.
Yeah, we've had offers.
True. We'll do whatever you say.
Yeah, we do have offer.
We have offer.
Yeah, we have offer.
We can't say who it was because we haven't accepted it, but we have offer.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Kick it off with Ryan's lines.
Oh,
Ryan had a tough week.
Yeah,
on Ryan's lines.
Dude.
Oh man, 0 for 4. That hurts. That hurts.
That's a bad one.
Let me say mine looks better than Joe's because my check marks are next to each other.
Yeah, but also Joe didn't pick his, so he just kind of got lucky.
Did he get lucky or did he just get the coin flip?
Yeah, he got the coin flip.
Yeah. Well, Joe got we were all very confident that the Summit were going to win that game. And then Joe got that winning Aviators.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, maybe. Well, anyway.
Yeah, that was kind of the big difference maker. I think I liked the Soul line. I think that was a fun one. Even though the Soul ended up winning, that was like, I think the toughest choice. And then obviously the Breeze and the Cats just like romped, so that wasn't super interesting. But we've got 7 games to go in the playoffs. So anything could happen. 7-4, Ryan.
Ryan's lines, baby.
All right.
That's tough, Ryan. Tough start.
That is tough. You hate to see that.
You do.
I mean, you hate to see it. We like to see it, but yes. I understand that you hate to see it. Let's get into it. I've got I decided to go with key players this week. So we've got the Central Division final up first. Cats at Windchill. My key players were Cam Brock and Abe Coffin, both of whom I have pictures of here.
Cam's gonna love this.
I mean, it's a spitting image, but anyway, they played 2 games. The first one was close in Indy, and then the second one was not close at all. But Cam was missing that game, and also some other good Cats players. So I don't know. What do you guys think is going to happen?
Andrew? I mean, I put money on the Cats for a reason. I think they could win this game. I don't know that much about the Windchill roster. But I just don't feel like super confident. I mean, I think it's kind of a toss up. And I think if the Alley Cats are clicking, they can be really good. You can't go out and even if you think the Windchill are going to win, are you going to be like, oh, yeah, this is a lock? I don't think you really feel that way, I feel like it's definitely a toss up. I think the Aviators beating the Summit is a way crazier outcome than if the Alley Cats could beat the Windchill. So,
yeah, no, I really don't know. I go back and forth with the Alley Cats. Sometimes they kind of seem like they're this team that loses by 5 to the Windchill and it's not close, but then they've just got this energy to them that you're like, oh, they're the Cats. They got this. They're gonna put down teams like the Onion. They're gonna rise to the occasion. But against this Minnesota, it seems like Minnesota kind of has their number. But I thought the Summit had the Aviators number. So I think you're right, Andrew. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Cats win this game.
Mm-hmm. So I took I'm taking the role of Joe this week. I went and looked at stats before this. Um, the only one I wrote down for this game is that the wind chill were like sixth from last in red zone conversion percentage, which I thought was very ugly and kind of surprising. And then I also noted that the Alley Cats have way better like turnover numbers overall. Just a lot fewer turns per game and also generating more per game. So I don't know. I feel like it's been a weird season for the wind chill, and I don't really like I still don't know anything about them. Like they were the toughest team for us to sort in our tier list. And it's
Because
just
they're
like
what was the regular season record like? They were like 10-2 or something.
yeah, something like that. They just like they beat the Cats twice and beat all the other bad teams that they played, but then they had some ugly games against, Colorado and one against Chicago. And like
Yeah, why did they lose to Chicago? I guess they had like guys that were gone for the college natty.
nationals. Yeah.
That's what people were saying, but like
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I feel like yeah, it is kind of toss uppy. I could see it going either way, but I would probably give the edge to Minnesota. And just because like they did this last year and Minnesota handled it pretty well. Like the Cats almost came back late, but
Yeah, but Minnesota had like Andrew Roy and they had
that's
Did
true.
they had
Yeah,
Cole
it was a
Jurek
different
last
team.
year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know who Minnesota's like leaning on in this game. Obviously key player Abe Coffin, but like he didn't have like the outstanding season that I feel like we maybe thought was gonna happen when it was like, oh, he's gonna be on the O line now, and blah blah blah. It's just like, I don't know. There's nothing super exciting about the wind chill to me. Don't come for me, wind chill talk.
I'm excited by just like not really watching that many of their games and not really knowing what this team like what their kind of MO or their identity is. Like, they say better the devil you know.
Right.
And I don't know this team. And that's interesting to me.
Yeah. And
It'll
also
be
go Cats.
and
Like,
we're a cat
come on.
squad. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's all I
Well,
got.
you got a line, Ryan?
Yeah, what's the line?
I'm gonna go Abe Coffin over Dean Pelton -1.5.
Classic
Oh,
line right there.
baby. That is it. All right. Well, wind chill -1.5. I am gonna go with the wind chill. But I don't want to. And last week, the one game I got wrong was Summit -1.5, and I really wanted to pick the Aviators, and I didn't. But here I am doing the same thing. I'm gonna pick the wind chill.
I think if I didn't pick the Cats, that would just kind of go against everything I just said. So
Yeah.
I don't really want to do that. So go Cats.
The Cats are winning this game, so this is a stupid line. So I'm gonna go the Cats here.
Hell yeah.
All right. And Joe will join me with the wind chill.
So the wind chill are covering here.
That's the way it goes. All right. Ryan's lines.
Ryan's lines.
Next.
Let
I
us
think I
know in the
put them.
comments. What's your
Yeah, what's your
who are you
pick?
taking?
Oh
What's your
yeah,
pick?
and,
Who
and
you got?
subscribe.
And
Subscriber.
subscribe.
And subscribe. Oh, we got West next. All right, West. We've got Lucas
yeah.
Ambrose locking up Jordan Kerr.
Oh.
Yeah, what
You
else
don't
is there
get
to say?
graphics like this on Swing Pass.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Graphics
this
team
is-
went crazy for these. Shout out.
Yeah, this
We got the best in the biz.
if you don't follow us on Twitter, you're missing out because you don't get where that's from. So go look at our tweets. They're really funny because
Yeah.
we get funny when we drink a lot. And
Yeah.
then
I was
happens a lot.
hammered. I was hammered during the Aviators game, and I tweeted probably once every like 2 minutes. Like stream of consciousness.
Absolutely love it. And then this one, I just Googled Jordan Kerr, and then that came up, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But
Oh,
anyway, they met towards the beginning of the season when the Aviators still sucked, and the Shred beat them by 12.
Jeez.
And then they met later in the season when the Aviators were good, and the Shred won by 2. So who fucking knows what's gonna happen? Do you guys?
What?
What do you
Oh,
mean,
man.
Ryan? Pourquoi? C'est quoi?
Pourquoi?
C'est-
It's
c'est
just like
quoi?
how do you beat a team by 12 and then beat a team by 2?
I don't know,
Different
man.
team, bro. Different team, bro.
They were built diffy.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen this picture of Lucas? He built Diffie.
All right, here's my 3 thoughts on this game that I wrote down. 1, US Open happened this past weekend. We told you we'd talk about it again. Pavel Giannis and Jordan Kerr were on the same team. I would bet anything that Pavel was able to get into Jordan Kerr's head with shit talk and really psych him out. I think that's exactly Pavel's skill set. I think he totally did that. Number 2, the Salt Lake Shred, if you recall, every single thing you've ever heard about them are a good team, but they just throw the disc willy-nilly and turn it over, blah, blah, blah. Did you know that they have the fewest turnovers in the AUDL this season?
Wow.
Period. Isn't that crazy? Number 3, Aviators might be the team of destiny. You know?
Wow, we got Sam, Joe, and Kyle all in one take.
That's what I got.
Look,
I love all those takes. And I have no idea. My brain is wrinkled right now trying to figure out how to get a line on this game.
if the Aviators can beat the Summit, which I didn't think would happen, I picked the Summit to cover. I didn't have like a super strong outlook. The Aviators hadn't beaten the Summit up until that point, right? And we're looking at basically the same thing. The Shred have been better than the Summit this year, but barely, and I think they're extremely comparable. So what do you do with that? You know, like it like that kind of shattered my notion of how good the Aviators are and how good the rest of the West kind of top dogs like the Summit and the Shred are. I mean, it's a toss up for me. That said, though, like especially the Aviators on the road at Salt Lake has been rough. They've kind of gotten their ass handed to them both of those games. Obviously, last year, different teams to some extent, but this year they really got their asses handed to them. But that was also a different Aviators team. You know, like the Aviators have been a different team from the start of the season till the end. And I want to find the clip of me saying, like, remember when they went on the road and they beat like the Nitro and the Cascades, and it was like, all right, whatever, those teams suck. But I was like, they looked better though, guys. Like they looked like we were disappointed in how they looked, and I'm sure they felt the same way before that road trip, especially. And then there was kind of a turning point, and then now I don't know what this new Aviators team would do against the Shred. It's hard for me to predict now because I think this team has improved a lot. So I said a lot without saying anything, but I was trying to stall for Ryan to think of a line.
No,
so,
well done. Well done.
Yeah. And with that being said, wait, let me get back to our serious voice. So this game, I'm going to put the line for the Salt Lake Shred versus the Los Angeles Aviators at Shred -3.5.
Oh boy. Yeah,
Ryan,
that seems fair.
That really makes me think about a time a long time ago when I don't know. I'm saying
I really love
podcast
this. I
bullshit.
think we should
good.
try to go 5 minutes of like talking
Ryan,
close to the mic.
I don't really know if I can pull that off for an entire episode. It's
But-
just not a comfortable way for me to speak to my friends.
But Sam, we are podcasters, and you have to take that into account.
Give me the Yaters.
Yaters.
Ryan, I'm going to smash the Aviators on this line, and I really feel good. It really makes me feel good,
guys,
and
guys,
I like the Aviators here.
I want to go Yaters too, but if I go Yaters and
do
Joe
it,
goes Shred, then we know the Shred's gonna win this game.
No,
Ryan,
the
I think
Aviators are the team of destiny.
you should follow your heart, Ryan.
All right. I'm gonna go with the team that has the most amount of players that have drank a lot of alcohol in my apartment
Well,
past the hours of 1 a.m., which is the Aviators.
Yaters. All
That
right.
was probably the most obvious setup you could have given to a statement. Penis
Ryan's
poop.
lines.
Ryan's
Yeah,
lines.
I need you guys to stop speaking
Okay.
so gently to me.
Ryan's lines.
You're putting me to sleep.
We're back, baby. We're back.
All right, Joe's the Shred. We're done with the West. We're on to the South. We've got the Soul at the Hustle. The Flyers are sitting at home watching. We've got Kyle Hinkie as our key player for the Soul, and we've got 5'11" Brett Holzmeyer as our key player for the Hustle. Who's gonna win?
I have no fucking clue.
Nice.
I don't know. I really don't know. I thought the Soul were going to lose last week. The Hustle have beaten Carolina this year, but I think this has kind of been a different Carolina team. I mean, the Hustle have like passed every test, basically, right? Like,
Yeah.
but they haven't. I don't know. Who do they play out of division this year? They played New York and they lost. Who else? Is that it? They didn't play DC.
No, they didn't. I don't remember. That might have been the only one. No, they opened against the Cats and they beat them pretty good.
They beat the Cats pretty good.
Yeah. But I mean, that was like week one, and like honestly,
week one, man.
Every team is so different from then.
We've completely thrown out, like when we're talking about the Aviators, we're like that literally anything they did before like
doesn't count.
before May doesn't count. Even like June doesn't count.
Before 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, before 2 weeks ago doesn't even count. So yeah, I don't know. I truly don't know. This might even be a pick 'em, or maybe like I don't know. I don't want to say the line for you, Ryan, but I'm sweating.
I was gonna say this is not Andrew's lines.
Yeah, come on, man. No, I think Atlanta deserves to be a favorite here based on their season, especially relative to Austin's. And I mean, they're both like going to be well rested enough because they both had last weekend off. Neither of them, like Chain didn't go to US Open, Double Wide didn't go to US Open. But I don't know. I'm excited for this game because like Austin games, as I mentioned, get super turnovery and stat time. Both of these teams, I forget who was who, but they were second and third in blocks this season. And then the Hustle had like one of the more patient offenses. They were second in hold percentage and third in O-line conversion. But then the Soul were first in break percentage and D-line conversion. And like those numbers are skewed by playing all those Garbo teams. But I mean, the Hustle played them a decent amount too. So like this is probably this is probably like as fair of a team you could get to compare Austin's numbers to. But I don't know. That being said, like, yeah, the Hustle have passed every test and they've looked stronger in a lot of ways than Austin has all year. But this could be anyone's game. All that to say nothing.
I have another aside if Ryan needs one for the line. The I don't know if this tips the scale for me at all, but I have the displeasure of coaching a college team that played against a Brett Holzmeyer Auburn team. And our game plan was they're probably gonna run a dom through Brett. Let's I don't know, force middle or put our best guy on him and try to somehow take him out of the there was nothing he just fucking completely they ran it through him no matter what we tried, and he shat on us. So he's really good, and he's had a great AUDL. It's that doesn't always happen. A college player kind of flames out sometimes when they play against the big boys. But despite all the adversity and being 5'11", he's had a great season.
Yeah,
and
he's going to be the best player on the field, honestly.
Yeah, quite possibly, despite his despite all the odds stacked up against him, namely his height. But yeah, I don't know if that tips me over though, because then there's the Kyle Stinky Hinky factor, that guy can do he's a fucking magician, man.
Yeah.
Plus friend of the pod, Reese Bowman.
He's gonna drink a beer at halftime and then ball out. I don't know, man. What you got, Ryan?
Oh, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go Atlanta Hustle minus 1.5.
Yeah, that seems right to me.
That's a good line, Ryan.
Back to the whispers.
I like that line very
Hustle
much.
minus 1.5. I don't think.
Can't do it. Can't do the talking. Go back to right side.
Yeah, we set up this bit before we started recording, so nobody's gonna know what the fuck we're doing. We're imitating this other podcast. I forget what it's called, but
every other podcast ever.
Yeah, we're imitating what we should sound like.
Where they're professional and they speak softly and they are well spoken.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah, going right sides.
Wow, I love rooting for the Soul. I think it's so funny when they win games. But I'm gonna go with Atlanta in this game. They've had a really strong season, and I feel like they can do some damage at championship weekend. I would probably rather see them there than Austin. So if only for that, I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
So part of why I asked if their only out of division game was New York, and then okay, they beat the Alley Cats, but I was trying to get it okay, I don't know. I'm just trying to do the transitive property in Frisbee, and that never really works out. But have they really been tested that much? And and when they have, did they do better than I think Austin might have done? And I don't know if I can say that, I think if it was 0.5, I would pick Atlanta, but because you gave me the cushion, Ryan, I'm going to go with the Soul, because that kind of gives me the leeway of Atlanta could still win. And I think that could very well happen. But if they do, I think it could be a slim margin. So I'll take the Soul to cover. I don't necessarily think they'll win though.
I got to go with my heart here, and my heart leans towards, championship weekend. We all got our flights. By the way, I don't know if this was clear, because I think we said in the past that it was just 3 out of 4. All 4 of us can be a championship weekend. So I'm thinking, who will drink with us and hang out with us the most if they lose Friday night? And that's got to be these Austin boys. So I'm going with Austin here in hopes that we just fucking get lit at championship weekend.
That would be great. I would love that. If it can't be the Aviators and it can't be the Cats,
it's Austin.
I'd party with Austin for sure. Yeah, that'd be
any
fun.
day. Yeah, the real question there is, would they party with us? Which probably not. But
well, some of them have. in
Some
the
of them
past.
already have, so I
That's
think
true.
we're
That's true. That's true. I guess we'll be in Eagan, Minnesota, so it's not like there'll be
Options. They'll
a
be
bunch
forced
of
to
things
party
for
with
them to
us.
go do. Yeah. Okay. Well, that means Joe is on the hustle side with me. All right. And we're done with the South. We're on to the big bad
Yeah,
East.
there's no more games, right? We're all
I
done.
don't think so. Let's see. Oh, shit.
oh
Oh shit. We've got the East Division final between DC and New York. Who would have thunk it? Our key players for this game. Honestly, I'll be real. I went with the ones that would be easiest to make little pictures for. I do think for DC it's probably Rowan. But for New York, I picked Ben Yacht because I found a picture of Ben Affleck on his yacht. But I would say that Ryan Osgar is the key player, given that in the 2 matchups this season, he had a plus minus of 9 and then a plus minus of 10. So
that's
he
nuts.
he pretty much showed up for those games. But yeah, I went to the first one where New York won 18-17 in DC in overtime. I couldn't go to the second one where the Empire won by 3, but that one was also really close. It was tied after 3 quarters. And then this past weekend, Pony played Truck Stop, which different teams, but let's be real, it's 85% the same team against 85% the same team, and Pony won. So that's where we are. Who's got thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts. I don't know. One thing I'm wondering, and you alluded it to here a little bit with your Pony and Truck score. I was wondering as I was watching this game, like how much is each side like compartmentalizing the club season and the AUDL season, and how much are the like, is there any amount of like seeing how things play out, and then does that affect the game planning for this upcoming game at all, or is it like the rosters are kind of different, like Harper Garvey is like blah blah blah, like DC has some different players, like is it how do they view that? Do they compartment, and obviously the rules are different, the field dimensions are different, or yeah, I don't know, I'm like really curious. Like I want to like reach out and ask people.
Yeah.
In terms of the matchup, yeah, I think Rowan is a big key player. He's been kind of on the D line a lot this year. I saw like a Reddit post and people were like, why is Rowan, why is there such a drop off this year? And it's like, he's been on the D line. I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, he's the same player that he was last year, essentially. I don't really think anything's changed. But yeah, I mean, I guess how they use Rowan, but really to me, it's like how the cutters kind of show up for DC. Like, is Boxley gonna go off? Are they gonna use his athleticism? Like, are they gonna? I saw some puts by the Truck Stop D line where they put it up to Fall, and he had like a great catch. Like, are they gonna let their like really athletic cutters kind of eat and maybe throw up some more questionable, maybe slightly lower percentage shots and like let their athletes go up and get it, which I don't think they've really done all year, but that might have to be the difference in a game like this.
Yeah. Well,
so
I will say, like, specifically for this matchup, like in the AUDL, it's not wise to take that strategy with your D line against New York, because I feel like they were doing that a lot in that first game, and then Jeff Babbitt would just like be there because they just throw this like pocket zone and then like bait these long balls, and then Jeff Babbitt is Jeff Babbitt and he like eats them up. But I mean, I don't know. They're gonna have to hit on those hooks to win this game. Like they were pretty bad on their hooks in the matchup in New York that they lost by 3. They were a little better. I think they did better than New York on hooks in game 1. But I did notice that both games, or in the first game, the Empire had 8 blocks and the Breeze had 4. In the second game, the Empire had 11 blocks, and the Breeze had 5, which is like pretty significant of a difference.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks a lot to like how patient with the DC can be, that they can sort of bridge that gap just by chipping away throughout the game. But I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It's going to be like a super tight game, like it always is, and then we'll see what happens.
I think
yeah,
go ahead,
it's
Sam.
just like no, it's just like margins are so slim that like it could be the time for DC to win, but we would never really know. It's got
Yeah.
to be a magical night.
Man, I mean, every time these teams play, it just feels like the margins are like every turnover, every block, like is so monumental. It's unlike watching most other frisbee matchups. It's really like I'm clenched, and I don't know if that has to do with like me rooting for DC, like having that rooting interest or whatever. But like I don't know. One thing I will say is another thing that's kind of just not super on topic to the matchup or like the predicting, but like something I also was wondering while watching the Pony game and other Empire games is I'm like, oh, like the Empire, their O line, they can be turnover prone, like they can turn it over more than you think. But then like you look at the numbers and it's like elite, like it's
Yeah,
so much better. And I wonder if it's because like you put them on this pedestal or like you think about them in a certain way. And so when they do turn it over, you're like looking for it more or you notice it more.
yeah,
Then when like literally every other team, you're more willing to forgive a turnover. Because you're like, oh, well, that happens, but
right.
whatever. Like, and I think there's definitely like a case to be made for like when I'm watching the Empire, I think there's some bias there when I see a turnover and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
they're not like perfect. And it's like you'll never ever like go through. I mean, you'll rarely go through a game and never turn over once ever, So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That
No,
was
I
that was
mean
an aside, but
that was my like exact takeaway after going to that first matchup this season, because I was like, oh, like that game was kind of sloppy. Like
they had a
there were
couple of
so many
weird
turnovers.
they had a
And
couple of
then
weird ones.
yeah. And then I looked at it and it was like DC had 14 turnovers and New York had 11, which is like nothing.
Insane. You look at every other ADL game and it's way
Yeah.
higher than that.
It's like
Like
20-20 or
yeah.
something. But yeah, it's like you expect perfection when you watch these teams, so it's kind of crazy when the slip ups happen. And like same thing when I was watching Pony Truck, it was like there were a couple of like break chances in those last few points where the game could have swung either way. And I feel like that happens with Empire Breeze, where there's opportunities for both teams toward the end of the game, and then just the Empire or New York comes out with it, seemingly.
Yeah. I mean, New York's come out with it every time in recent memory. At least since our very short goldfish memory of the AUDL, given that we haven't really watched before like last year. But yeah, I don't know. Ryan, you got a line?
I'm gonna give it the Empire minus. Come on, okay. I'm just gonna speak out loud. I'm in between a half and 1.5 because
Right.
I think the Empire are a 1.5 team better than the Breeze, but for some reason these games are always 1-point games. And I don't want you guys to say what you would do in either scenario until I decide, because I'm just speaking out loud. But I think I have to go Empire minus a 0.5 point here and give this game that tightness that I think it's gonna be, and I think we all feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of setting a line, I think that's probably the move.
Yeah, you got to do it.
I'll start it off. I'll take DC, but like I feel way less comfortable doing that because of the line you set. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna take New York on that, because why would I not take New York?
Why
but
would
like,
you not? but I'm not. Sam, I get it. Like I don't feel great about picking DC.
No,
But
I know, but it's just like the chance is going to be there. Like it was there last year. It was a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
it really was, man.
It's going to be sick. I'm very excited to go. I'm going to try not to drink too much, but I'm probably going to anyway. It's going to be
Hell
great.
yeah.
I'm also going to New York. Like, it just makes sense. Like, but I do think this game's gonna be like both teams have been prepping all year for this game. You know what I mean? They knew this is
Yeah.
their championship.
Absolutely.
Question: is this the proxy AUDL championship game?
No, maybe, no.
Maybe.
Breeze also aren't like phased. Like they lost to Carolina. They played a close one with Philly.
Yeah. I mean, I think DC's always going to have the claim of like second best, and it's just unfortunate they can't also be at championship weekend.
Because to me, maybe not necessarily. I think maybe it's kind of a toss up against like teams like the Shred or I guess just the Shred. But like, I mean, to me, like both of these teams are in the final.
Yeah.
One or the other makes it. Like, I think they go to the final at least.
I do agree. And I don't think it's like last year. Like I think should the Empire come out again, they're gonna have tighter games for sure than they did last year, like against be it like Atlanta or Salt Lake, probably not whoever comes out of the Central, but like it's like yeah, New York would be the favorite coming out, obviously. I think DC would probably also be the favorite if they won this. So I mean, I don't know. It depends how you look at it. I feel like the Breeze players wouldn't like accept that. They would be like, we have to win this and go to championship weekend because they're big time athletes and they take it seriously. But since we're just dorks who are sitting here talking about it, I feel like it's fair for us to say like this is the best of the best going on.
Yeah. Ryan, did you throw your pick out there yet?
Yeah, I said New York.
Yeah, he took New York.
So Joe's with me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
that
had to
works out.
be. Yeah,
That
it had
works
to be
out.
you and Joe
I think he
on
would
the
have
DC side.
DC Rising.
DC Rising, baby.
Oh man, I'm stoked. Is this a Friday night or is this a Saturday?
Saturday night.
Oh
DC
man,
Rising.
Saturday night.
Emily's gonna hate the fact that I have to watch the AUDL on both of our weekend nights. Basically,
Emily's gonna love the AUDL.
Sorry, babe. I gotta watch Johnny and Ryan sling the flat ball.
Don't
Wish I could
forget
hang.
about Everest Shapiro and Jordan Kerr.
All right.
Is Everest the sophomore of the year? Like legit?
No.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
All the Shred players.
Yeah, a bunch of good Summit guys. All right. Just thought I'd throw it out there.
No, shred guys.
Do we have anything else?
I have one more slide.
I'm open.
We'll be at championship.
Oh,
come say hi or let us know in the comments what content we should make because we need ideas. Or maybe you don't give a fuck that we're going to championship weekend, and that's perfectly fine too.
That's more than likely. But if you've made it this far into an episode, I feel like you probably are invested in some way. I can't really say, but we already have some. I'm cooking some ideas of some shit we can do. I'm curious to see like what they'll let us get away with in terms of. I don't want to give away too much of my thought process, but maybe there'll be some props. Maybe there'll be some beverages.
Maybe we'll take a sandwich to something.
Yeah, we'll tape sandwiches to things. I don't know, but I'm very excited. You guys should be excited. I think we might make some of our best stuff.
I'm just happy I don't need to drive home after it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I drank so much brisk iced tea last year at championship weekend. Like way too much.
That's funny. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a ton of fun. Come through if you're thinking about it. And party in our hotel room. Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Spotify.
What gives with our
Follow.
like we have way more Instagram followers now than our Twitter. Like, what gives, guys?
I don't know.
You
know.
made a banger reel, Andrew.
It's the reels. You know what I think it is I've noticed, like, I think the algorithm, since Elon fired like 70% of Twitter employees, I think their algorithm sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't think like stuff it's not as specialized. It's a lot more like basic, and like I think most people see the same stuff.
Yeah.
I think Instagram's a lot more sophisticated. So I think like people who are interested in Frisbee see our shit. But
yeah. I mean, yeah, your Rowan McDonald's video has like over 2,000 likes and 30,000 views, and
I didn't think that would be our best video.
I don't understand it. It's the stupidest video we've ever made.
We went and spent like 2 hours making a different video that we never actually made, and then the last 2 minutes that we were out there, I was like, "Hey, I have an idea. Like, let's do this." And then that's what we like.
That was it.
I thought the Nethercut video, because it's like smarter, would be so much better. No, they don't. People don't care. People don't care about Nethercut learning how to throw a flick.
I don't know. I think there's certain. I don't have to get too into the weeds. I have a couple ideas about what I think makes them do better than others, but I don't know. I actually don't really know. But thank you to everyone who's watched any of our stuff, or just watch the podcast or follow us or anything else. It means a lot. Because we put a lot of time into this, and it makes it feel like it's worth it if people enjoy it. So we appreciate that a lot. Thanks for watching.
And if you don't watch it, we're still gonna make it. So
We're gonna do it anyway. So fuck you. Yeah. If you don't watch it, you're not listening. So I can say whatever I want about you. I can say horrible things. I think your parents suck, and I think you suck.
And you're not open.
You're not.
But we're open. Yeah. I'm open.
I'm open.
This has been I'm Open. An ultimate podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to dot your I's and cross your T's.